Yeah, I'm not seeing any of these issues. You do not have permission. You have been banned. Yeah, alright. Yeah, that's what I figured. Alright, so let's see, how are people reproducing this thing where they're running into this crap? So where were you? You were like right here-ish. Let's just screw up our frame rate. And see if we can cause any issues. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything on here for this issue. Yeah, that's the GIF I'm looking at, and I'm just not getting stuck in that same spot, you know? Yeah, it may have been that the old map also didn't have terrain set properly on it, and that can cause some of that issue. So why don't I do that? Why don't I set this to like wrong? Like, because I think Adam had this a couple times where the he had it as block all instead of terrain, and as a result, you can collide with the terrain in ways that you normally wouldn't. That guy was actually doing a kick when he ran into it, though. Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Okay, I know what's going on here. the rigging on the character is going to be wrong for that animation. So that's what's going to be going on. So let's go look at the character. So if we look at the, yeah, so like all these like animations here that Adam's put together and rigged, like all these boxes need to have the same pivot to bottom, and they don't. So it's that the rigging's screwed up for these characters, and that's just it. So, and just needs to be fixed for all of them. Because like you can see right here, like the bottom left from the pivot to the bottom left of this box is different than the pivot to the bottom left of that box. So you're fucked. Like if you swap between those animations when you're going through that, Bitey's collision will attempt to go through the ground, and he'll get stuck and hit it and stuff like that. So yeah, all right, that's that issue. So I need to kick that back to Adam, and he needs to re-rig those things properly. So I will do that. So I need to give him kind of a good reference point. So I need to the thing with collision is the pivot location to the bottom left corner, bottom left and right corners of the collision box need to always be the same. Always be the same. This guarantees that the character's box doesn't go below the ground when landing, etc., which causes him to collide with the ground. At high speeds, the only thing the system can do is just basically get you wrecked. So in this case, the big issue is the air kick. The spin kick is a different distance, which it definitely is. So, yeah. So that's it. All right, cool. Yeah, and it basically has to do with like the character is a platformer, and the idea that we're gonna have super tight physics collision for the actual like physics collision is just it. Adam's got that in his head because he's trying to draw these frame perfect things and be like, no, you need to stop thinking like an artist because it's a technical system. It really needs to all be the same. And a few of them that I've fixed up, like the slide and others, have very specific ways that they actually work to make the dynamic stuff work properly. So it's one of those things where like, what are you gonna do? You can, and at some point it depends. Like we'll see if Adam can go through and rig the things properly, or if I need to just basically have the thing just disable all the tools, because it's like if you have a complex system and it's too difficult to make the complex system work properly, then at some point it's just like, okay, we need to take off the ability for you to even do frame perfect collision stuff, like, because it's not working, Yeah, it's especially the thing is like with a game like this where the speed is so fast, like it needs to be right. Otherwise, you're screwed. And we're also using arbitrary collision terrain. So it's, like you can paint a landscape and you can run on it. Like it's not like you're playing Sonic or Mario and you can only make everything out of boxes and squares and shit like that. Or, specific angled slopes that come together. It's, anything goes. You can draw it, you can throw it in there, and it should work-ish to a certain degree. Alright, so what are some other things? Player sliding on the ground when stunned. Pretty much. Well, it's kind of an ongoing thing. Like getting the rigging stuff beaten into your artist is kind of a pain in the ass because, every time you come back to actually do new animations, it's been how many months or whatever since he's actually done that. So all the short-term working memory is gone. So you're basically looking at it fresh again. So it's, unless it's like just absolutely beaten into you, you're never gonna get it right. You're always gonna accidentally forget a small thing. Okay, so a few things. No, I'm not going to save those settings in your configs. That's not really too helpful. Okay, so one bug here is the login page. Hooks is not hooking the inputs. Alright, so what we should do is, basically what's happening right now is if you're in the UI, I need to just get rid of this shit. Well, I can tell Scott to get rid of it. because it's his stuff. He needs to clean it up. So the issue right now is if you pull up the login page, like I think I can probably put it pretty big. Pretty easy repro case on it, but basically we want to, where is it? The viewport client. Okay, so if this is activated and we get key presses, we're calling HUD on mouse button up and on mouse button down. Okay, so it's going through every window in the Windows and it's doing stuff. So what we want to do is, instead of this, is we want to get the last window for all of these things. So let's go ahead and check this out. Alright, so cursor query, we only want the highest window in the stack. So windows dot, what is Windows in this case? It is a T array of shared pointers. So we're going to get a T shared pointer reference, T shared pointer, Windows dot get Windows sub Windows dot num -1 dot get, or I guess we just on cursor query. Yeah, so if windows dot num equals 0, return, otherwise we're just gonna be doing this sort of thing. So that should mean that every one of these guys, focus lost, received. All right, so we can just get rid of all these things. So what's going to happen is the window should not process input unless it is the topmost window, and that should just help us out here with because the issue was when people were logging in, and this only happens if you haven't actually logged in, the background window UI was hooking your keyboard input. So if you had like the character, like the host game screen up, which has a text field that you had like clicked into, and then you click the login button and all that, it might be passing your inputs into that text field in the background. So like it'll snag your password out of the other WebKit or something, and that's not good. That's not what we want. Not at all. What is this network even doing? Yeah. Yeah, it was like one guy reported that on the forums. He's like, why is my Twitch password in the name of the game? And I was like, oh, fuck. Yeah, about that. Sorry, shit. Well, it's not specifically grabbing the password. It's just, it's passing inputs to things that shouldn't be getting the input. So we need to just turn that off. So, like, if you hit the enter key or something else, you're actually, like, hitting the enter key on random buttons inside of the lower UI that you can't see anymore. So you might accidentally enter the audio settings or start hosting a game or do something else. Kind of, it's undefined what would be happening. And in the world of computers, having something be undefined is worse than having it explode. Because you're like, well, what's the state of everything? And be like, well, we don't know. You're like, well, that's bad. That's worse. That's worse than knowing it's wrong. You can fix something that's wrong, but you can't fix something that's unknown. Because you might be fixing something that's not wrong, in which case you might be breaking it. Okay, so let's highlight that, bring this in, and then jam on the keyboard. And we're good to go. Okay, so yeah, that solves that problem. Okay, so one other issue was when we were looking at the web UI, sometimes we would see ourselves as having more download links than we needed. So in order to reproduce this, I need to set up a special thing on my account. So let's go to test. So we need to go to entitlements. I need to go to the entitlement table. And let's see, we got Brackensack game. I need to see who this is, this account that I'm testing on. This will be user account. Okay, so this is my account. Is this 87? Okay, so I want to add another entitlement. So we're going to add another entitlement. This will be Brackensack game, token ID, and we'll just do auto created. Alright, what was basically happening here is these download links are showing up multiple times. If like you own the game, if like you got a Brackensack game entitlement and then you actually went and bought the game, you would see more download links than you should. That's not good. It's kind of confusing to people for that to happen. So I need to go to my web stuff and fix that sort of stuff. I think it's inside of our JavaScript for it. So I think it's owned products. So let's see, it's on the account details page. So index. So this is under owned products. So product container is what we're looking for. Yeah, so we've got this download link equals this. So what we want to do is, yeah, so we need this map here. So this will be var download map equals new map. So basically it's going to be if we already have a download link. So if download link dot has download link dot link name. Then we continue. Otherwise, we're going to add it. So we'll do download map. Yeah, so download map dot set download link dot link name true. So we've already got the link, so it should work. So let's test this out locally just to make sure we got it correct. I see 4, 2 for the gifted ones, 2 for the bot ones. Yeah, that's what we're gonna fix here. Alright, so this is my local page that I'm running against. So let's go to our local database and see what we've got for our entitlements. Alright, so it looks like I've got an account here. Let's give myself another Brackensack purchase entitlement. And let's revert our change and reload our page. I'm not seeing it. So that is me. So the entitlement didn't show up, did it? Well, let's give myself yet another entitlement. Alright, yeah, so there we go. It's now screwed up. So let's undo this. And yeah, there we go. Okay, so that's fixed. Excellent. So cool. That's all I needed to do for that. Fix the leaked SFX. Alright, I'm actually gonna check all this stuff in, I think, because it's a good stopping point for work, but I don't think I'm gonna stop work. I think I'm just gonna get a good stopping point out there. Just so I got a good thing, I go kick off. So hinge, so progress. Fix lots of bugs. Let's see, what do we fix? Automatic relogin, multiple download links. Should we do something else real quick with the login link? Like make the download link specifically for the the bracket stack shipping x64 thing. Make that red or something. What would call attention to it? I mean, we basically want row even, but we want like some better background color, maybe like something like this, some like pink download color, or we could say I mean, it just has to be like call out your attention. So like row even, and then we'll add like a style in here for. Yeah, we got row dot even, and then maybe we'll have like dot row dot important, and row dot important dot even. And we want to include like, we're looking for things like Dashkin shipping or whatever. Alright, so if download link dot link name we don't have to make this super complicated, you know, just like let's just make our var important download links, and let's make it an array, and we can do, you know, like Dashkin shipping x64 and just kind of add a few things in here. x86. Alright, so for var equals I, 0k is less than important download links dot length. So if alright, so this will add an important download link on here. So it'll look like that. It's kind of a shitty color. That looks a lot better. Yeah, let's do that. Alright, so that should make that a little bit nicer. Maybe we'll stop having people ask me where the fucking download link is, only to just 2 seconds later say, "Oh, I found it, sorry." Which is the very first person who purchased the game is also the only customer service issue we've had that actually like contacted us with our official customer service line. With like, I can't figure out where to download the game, and I was like, shit, like, I did like, is just commerce broken? Literally, the first person who bought the game can't get it. This is bad. And it was just like, then like 2 minutes later, it's like, oh yeah, I'm dumb. I don't read things on screen. I was like, oh, thank God. Because I'd send him an email like, well, it's, I like just send him an email with like another code. I was like, here's a code, shit. I thought the code links were broken for Sendal, which is our commerce solution for the website. I was like, crap, this is going to be a long night. I'm going to have to take the buy button off the store. Alright, so automatic relogin, multiple download links, scroll bars fixed, booting bots, spawning bots on own server, collision. No, we just tracked that down, we didn't fix it. Fixed leaked SFX. Yeah, okay, so I think we did that sort of crap. So let's check that in. Let's make sure we can just log in with our Twitch change there. The one that has the ability to read. I mean, there's a lot of studies on that, right? Literacy is a key indicator. But it's not just literacy, it's actually taking the time to read what's in front of your face. Which can be a real pain in the ass. I was like the other day on stream, I was telling Adam, I was like, yeah, you might get prompted to resize your window to fix it. And he's like, oh, I didn't get prompted. And like literally the video shows him like clicking the button to like close the prompt. I'm like, yeah, you did. Like, it was fucking right there. You just closed it. It's like, oh, what? It's like, yeah, we're just hardwired to just ignore shit. So let's do our login flow here. And make sure we can actually input all of our keyboard crap. Which the keyboard appears to be working, but my phone doesn't appear to be next to me. So I'll be right back. Alright, so that works. I should probably also install the latest Android update, right? Don't worry, it's just fixing the Intel chipset bugs that will plague us for the next 2 million years. Okay, so we've got that done. So the question for me is, should I take a short break and come back later? Or a break and come back later and do more work, or should I just keep doing more work? Because I think I've got all the big bug fixes. Like, the other bug fixes I've got are... Today is Sunday. Like, the T key stuff is something. Maybe I can go ahead and just fix the T key stuff with chat. Hey, Sinacron. Yeah, I got your... Are you going to be on for a while? Because if you're free to talk and go over stuff, it would also be a good time to do that sort of stuff today. So, if you're gonna like go for a run and be back, and then we could do some stuff or whatever, that would totally work for me. All right. So the T key bug is basically when we go into chat. Why don't we just pull up the local UI and do it that way? So like if I hit the T key and hold it down, doesn't look like the bug really happens in WebKit. It's really only happening in the game itself. So why don't we boot up the game then and see if it works. Yeah, so when are you going to be back? So is that like in an hour or something? I just want to figure out how long I should take for things here. So let's go into game. Yeah, hit the T key. And it totally printed out. Yeah, so this is not happening in WebKit. It's only happening in the game itself. So there's going to be something with like buffering keys that's different. Okay, sure. So maybe at like 3 to 3:30 today, we can start working on stuff. Cool. All right. So if we go to our UI, this is going to be in our, because it's only the in-game screen, so it's going to be just in-game screen that we want to fix. Let's open all this up. Yeah, alright, sounds good. So what's going on here is the chat is pretty simple. It's just a submit, in-game chat text. It's a text area, and we just have like a max length and crap on it. So what we want is when we hit the T key, we want to skip a frame or something. So do we actually customize the push to chat controls? Yeah, so chat is an actual key that we can customize. Yeah, so push to chat. If we did this, then the chat text entry will focus. And you guys didn't hear that, but as soon as I finished that sentence, the like "you lost" played over my speaker. It was like, focus. Da, 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 da. Yeah, alright, I get it. Thanks, game. So we're going to show, and then we're going to focus, and should lock is true. What the hell is should lock? Alright. So maybe what I should do here is like have a 1 frame delay or something, so like focus next frame is true. Because we're not actually overriding the input for this thing, it's just standard WebKit, so it's... Let's see. We could also try something like, setting the value to nothing and see if it's like a buff, something's already buffered in there. So let's see. We took chat out of this one, the practice level, didn't we? Yeah, so I can't test it here. Yeah, so what's going on is if you just hold down the T key, yeah, it'll put it right in there. So what can we do about that? Like setting the value to nothing doesn't work. It's the focus that doesn't work. So, well, why don't we just try a hack in here like this.m focus chat next frame. And we can just see if that does anything for us. You have to hit T several times before chat shows up. Alright, so that appears to actually solve that problem. Skipping a frame. Alright. So we'll get that T key fix in there. So that's good. Okay, so there's another thing that I'll just take a 5-minute like think on, which is currently we have an issue with our servers in production where after 120 hours the server will still be logged in and everything and be online, but you can't join a game. And like the uptime of the servers right now, or they've been up for 30 hours. I restarted them. But when that gets to 120, you can't join it, but the server's still online and the match still goes and everything is working. So I'm trying to think about if there's anything that might match that 120 hours that that we're seeing. So like, I mean, I can just search the code base for 120. I mean, that's the seconds in match for some defaults. Top left of some physics test stuff. Yeah, but it's nowhere here. I mean, let's search for 60 in our current stuff. Let's see if there's anything that isn't in some stupid crap. Like snap layers, angular velocity, some max message size stuff. Yeah, so there's nothing with 60 or 120. So the only thing I can think of is that it's somewhere in our server configs. So let's take a look. So database, alright, so authentication, token timeout is 60 minutes on some of these guys. That's fine. Token timeout minutes for that's fine. Yeah, there's no reason that I can think of that we would stop accepting UDP connections or something after 120. Like, let's think about it. Let's look at our net driver and see if there's anything in there. And we're not, like, it affects both the beacons and the... It affects both the beacons and the other stuff, which is even more screwed up. Because we don't get the pings back, which really makes no goddamn sense to me. And why would it be like 5 days? Like, things don't break like that usually. Usually they break a lot sooner, or they never break, or they break after like 50 days or some shit and just don't even care about it. But 5 days is just kind of... And the thing is, it's not breaking the network stuff. It can still make calls. The servers are still online. Everything's working and still talking. It's just you can't join it. Which is like almost like an operating system level thing where like the socket is not bound anymore or something. Which would be like an OS bug or something. Let me just Google that real quick. After a week, UDP socket stops accepting connections, AWS. fsoc open UDP. Oh man, in the Google game server stops accepting game clients after a week is an actual thing, but I don't see it. And so somebody else has the same bug. We've discovered an issue with our dedicated game servers where if they've been running for more than about a week, they stop responding to new clients. Due to the nature of this issue, it's rather hard to trace down since the server's netlog doesn't have anything. It appears in my line of code. Apparently, if a socket fails to connect, it doesn't implicitly close and must still be closed manually, even if the socket gets destroyed. Actually, it seems to be an issue with the underlying network driver. Thought it was a dangling socket issue. This is still a thing. You'll need to edit the config files, basically making floats into doubles. Here's a paste that shows. Oh man! All right, that's crazy. Like somebody else had the same fucking problem back in July, and there's actually a fucking answer for this. I'll be right back. I need to go celebrate. Like, that's great.